What is up, guys? Colossus here. Welcome back to my reaction video. Today we are watching Wansee Entertainment again. We're watching True My Brother's Horror Story animated. Let's get into it.
My name is Lance. This story happened when I was 13. My older brother, Carl, had a group of friends that always came over to our house. Their names were Jack, George, Max, and Steven. They always liked to hang out in the living room, and usually when I was there watching TV before they came, my brother urged me to go to my room, which annoyed me a lot. I always liked snooping around my brother's room, since he had a lot of cool things in there. He'd always catch me later on and yell at me to get out of his room. One day I noticed that one of his friends, George, stopped coming over. I asked Carl about it, but he said they weren't friends anymore. I believed him and forgot about the situation. Then I started to realize that my brother was spending a lot of time upstairs in his room and told me not to enter his room at all. He sounded really serious, so I stopped snooping around in his room. His room began to smell really badly, and I asked him what that disgusting smell was. He nervously said that it was some of his gym clothes, and for some reason, I believed him. One day my parents had gone out, and it was just me and my brother that were home. I was in my room playing on my PlayStation when my brother walked in and asked me if I wanted some pizza for dinner. I immediately said yes, because it's pizza. It's my favorite food. He nodded and then told me he was heading off to the pizza place. Before he closed the front door, he told me, "Please don't go in my room," and left. A few minutes passed and I got bored playing on my PlayStation, so I began snooping around in my brother's room. I know, I completely ignored my brother's rule, but I'm that annoying little brother that makes you want to just smack me. I started going through his drawers, but didn't find anything interesting. As I made my way near his bed, that familiar, disgusting smell began to come. I searched his bed to see where that source of the smell was. I then realized that the source was underneath his bed. I bent down and peeked underneath the bed and found a human-sized duffel bag. I began to panic because I thought that there was a body. And as I unzipped the duffel bag, I saw my brother's friend, George, dead. The smell was coming from George's body. I screamed and ran out of the house. I ran over to my neighbor's house and begged her to let me in. I explained to her what I just saw in my house, and she called the police. The police waited for my brother to come home, and when he did, he was immediately arrested. It turns out that George had stolen $200 from my brother, and this angered my brother and caused him to beat George to death. I didn't understand. My brother was such a nice person, and I couldn't imagine him doing something like this. He was sentenced to life in prison, and I haven't seen him since.
That was crazy. Oh my gosh. I never expected that to happen. That's cruel. What? Oh my gosh. Anyways, guys. That's the end of the video. Subscribe to Wansee Entertainment, watch the video, and